Yeah.
But this whole notion that first responders constantly live in a state of hypervigilance. I see this on social media all the time, right? Everybody's like, oh, every first responder, you live in a state of hypervigilance. Every time you get home, you can never turn it off. Your brain's always running. Like, I'm like,
You're like the least hyper vigilant person.
Yo, I was at Cajun Market eating 2 donuts at 4:30 a.m. I got off work and I snuggled Robyn and I fell asleep like in a fucking heartbeat. Um, and I'm kind of curious both of your opinions, right? Obviously, like, and
Some people are.
when I think of hypervigilance, I think of being like on guard, being aware of my surroundings. Like, so when I go to Chick-fil-A to get the market salad and I'm trying to be healthy and everything, I sit with my back towards the door. I can see the exits like every other person, blah, blah, whatever. When I sit in a parking lot to type reports, I back my car up to a wall so nobody can get there. But like, it's not all the time.
No, like if I want to sit with my
handing out fucking Oreo cookies to people. You know, like I'm on accident scenes or alarm calls that we just had a block away, and I'm like, all right, like you just got to secure the door, but do you want an Oreo ball that my wife made? Like, I feel like the perception is every single first responder is in a state of hypervigilance all the time. When he or she comes home, how do you turn it off? Do you take 30 minutes to sit in the parking lot out front to decompress? You know, like I'm just want to get your guys' opinion on it, but I've seen it for a long time where it's like every cop, every firefighter is in a state of hypervigilance, and I don't agree with that.
Well, it's like I'm sure, Brooke, you're familiar with the book too. The what is it called? Emotional intelligence for first responders.
Emotional.
Oh, I'm at Kevin, right? Yeah, it's a great book. But I remember like giving it to Greg. We were on our mini moon. I remember like giving it to him to read, and he was like, "I don't agree with all of this," and I was like, "Yep, like I totally, get that." And I do feel like, and it's the same with military too. And like, this is another thing I feel like, Brooke, you and I have talked about, like moral injury and how misunderstood that is also. But I feel like people just get like lumped into things, and it's like that. I think the issue is, and this is just in general, something can be more common. And so then people assume that because it's more common, it's like this blanket application, when that's not the case, because people are still individuals with different experiences and whatnot. And so I think that's also like, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you if you don't have these experiences either. I don't know. How would you say that?
I mean, I think those types of statements are also harmful, right? Because then it just gives this idea that in your head that it's like, this is the way it's going to be. Or like people are like, I've seen the post of like PTSD is inevitable in this line of work. No, it's not. Most people who do this line of work don't eventually get PTSD. Now, too many do, right? But it's like this whole thing of like, you're constantly in a state of hypervigilance. No, it's not true. There's a lot of variation. Now, again, we're going on like the psychoeducation side. First responders have a higher possibility of noticing changes in their hyperarousal, to where maybe their hyperarousal, their baseline hyperarousal is higher than the general civilian. But it doesn't mean it's inevitable. And you're going to, there's so many different things that play into, like your personality, Greg, is different than the, personality of, your partner or whatever, right? There's so many differences that go into it. It's always about, like, when I go in and do a critical incident response, and I'm with like a peer team and we're sitting in there, I've heard horror stories of not culturally competent therapists being brought in, being like, you're all going to be so impacted by this call and you're all going to do, like, no, that's not the way it works. It's just about, hey, everyone's this is like literally my protocol, my critical incident protocol that I teach peer supporters and agencies, is it's all about like the message is everyone's different. Everyone's response to these things is different. Someone could be completely unaffected, and that's totally normal. Someone might be more affected. Someone might be in the middle. It's a spectrum of these things.